One of the questions that will often come up from parents, or that should come up from parents, is what are the benefits of sending your child to Montessori? The way they usually put it is, will it prepare them to survive in the real world? Now, my favorite answer is no. No, it's not going to prepare them to survive in public school. Will they actually be able to survive? The odds are yes, they'll do fine. But is it designed to prepare them for it? No, because if you were designed to prepare them for it, you'd have them in public school. It would literally be a recreation of the very thing they're going to go into. Is it designed to teach them to live in the real world? Well, what's the real world? I think what most people mean by that is a world of people that are high achievers, highly driven, who are fundamentally living lives that often are rather shallow, materialistic, driven, competitive, one-upsmanship oriented. Now, obviously not everyone in the world actually thinks that way, but I think it's fair to say that Montessori is very interested in a more spiritual, a more balanced approach to life. Montessori is not anti-materialism, but it is not materialistic. Montessori would not teach children that it's not okay to have a nice, beautiful home. What they'd say is, if you had the home and it's taken away from you, you're still you. Your life is still worth living. You are the source of beauty. You are the source. You can create beauty. You can create a home. You can create comfort. It's obviously hard after a major war, when everything is destroyed, to rebuild. But the fact that civilizations are disrupted, that storms sweep through cities and destroy things, and yet somehow human beings organize and rebuild, that's a fundamental characteristic of the human spirit. Are we oriented preparing children to live the same life that a typical prep school lives? No. What we're actually doing is not preparing children for anything other than university and life. What children tend to get out of Montessori is many different things. One of your exercises that I'm asking you to do in the learning plan for this week is to think about what children get out of Montessori, but I will offer a few thoughts. I think what children get out of Montessori is, first off, an incredible sense of self-worth, of independence, of potency, of their own ability in this world to learn things and to do things well. I think children learn nonviolence. They become much more spiritually alive in the highest sense of what that means, not simply a fear-based approach to religion. You'll go to hell if you don't do it right, but a love-based approach to religion. It was always intended to fundamentally recreate conditions in which children, even children whose lives have really been hard. Remember, the original group of children that Montessori experimented with were 50 street urchins whose families were in terrible economic conditions, terrible physical environment that they grew up in, with crime and drugs and violence and murder and all kinds of bad stuff. We are trying to create a condition that gives children a sense of joy, a sense of celebration, a sense of something bigger than them, a sense of awe and wonder that is not meant to make human beings feel small, to humiliate them, to tell them they're worthless, they're powerless, but rather to say, you belong on this earth. Your life has value. Your life has meaning. You need to honor yourself, honor your mother and father, honor the earth, honor other people. You need to live your life so that it will, as the Quakers say, speak, that you have dignity, that your ideas have merit, that your decisions are important, that you will make mistakes perhaps, and you need to take responsibility for them and try to rebalance the scales. What we're trying to do is to help children to live better, more spiritual, more empowering, more balanced lives. We're trying to teach children how to live in community, to resolve conflicts peacefully, to support one another emotionally, spiritually, to know how to build community, to be friends, to know how to love, to know how to lead, and to know how to be part of a team. These are very powerful lessons. We're trying to teach children not simply to memorize facts and figures and formulas. We're trying to teach children how to think and how to read and how to be thoughtful and how to figure out how to make abstract ideas or things they've never seen come alive, to make it real, to show them the connections among things. These are some of the skills that I believe children really get out of Montessori. And with this tends to be a good sense of humor and personality that is not, frankly, all that impressed with authority. They'll question authority. They'll ask embarrassing questions sometimes, to the point where back in the 20s there was an old saying that made the rounds for decades on various sweatshirts. It says, it takes a brave woman to raise a Montessori child because they think and speak for themselves. So I'll close by suggesting that it's true today. Montessori schools, they're big, they're small, they're public, they're private. There's some that are more adapted than others, but you know what? One of the things we have in common, all of us, the Montessori and the Montessomething schools, is we tend to raise kids that are like that. Because even though it can get better than what some of these schools do, even though the outcomes can lead to much more enthusiastic and confident support from parents and higher levels of success and higher levels of children normalizing and behaving the way we ideally want to see them behave, the truth is that most Montessori schools raise these incredibly bright, sassy kids who think for themselves, who have such self-confidence, and who will ask all the embarrassing questions. So I think that's what kids get out of Montessori.